Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka BatBomb82, and today I'll be taking a look at the new remastered turtles from Playmates, which are supposed to be the vintage toys with updated articulation and deco. We'll see how that goes. But as you can see, I have all four brothers here, and if we take a closer look at the packaging, we can see some really cool artwork, especially that brick pattern that's supposed to be like the vintage card backs, which is really cool, and on the backside, a bit of a cross-sell which features all four brothers. So with the boxes out of the way, let's go ahead and crack these figures open and let them breathe. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at these new remastered turtles from 1998 from Playmates, which Playmates is basically trying to give us this, I guess it's their versions of the Motu Origins, we know, with updated articulation and things like that. This is something we've been wanting for a long time, but I think for a lot of us, there's a little bit of a hit and miss here with certain things. The biggest elephant in the room is definitely going to be the skin texture, which I'm not a huge fan of, especially when you look at them on camera and in photos. The skin texture just does not look great to me, but I will say in hand, the texture does not bother me as much as I thought it was going to. Now, it's still a little weird because the vintage figures had smooth skin, which I think we were all perfectly fine with. And I don't know a lot of turtles that have little dimples all over their skin like that. It's still a little weird. But again, in person, it does not bother me as much as I thought it was going to. These still look really cool. There's going to be some things, again, I'm going to complain about, but there's also going to be things I'm totally going to praise these things for. So this is our four remastered turtles. So let's start off with Leonardo. So starting off with the leader that leads, this is my personal favorite turtle. Now, I am so stoked for these in the sense that I love that we're getting like updated versions, again, Motu Origins versions of Ninja Turtles. That's something that we've been wanting for a very long time. I think this, for the most part, looks cool. I love the belt. The belt looks fantastic with the giant L on the buckle right there. The blues, the skin tones, all look pretty good. They're not 100% accurate to the vintage toys, but I love the sword sheaths back there. All of this looks really good. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in my vintage Leonardo here. Now all the vintage turtles that I'm going to show are actually the ones that I've had ever since I was a kid. These are my childhood Ninja Turtles. Yes, I still have them. They're a little messed up and worn and played with and dirty and things like that, but these are some of my all-time favorite toys. I will never let these go. I will be buried with these. But anyways, you can see the difference in things like the skin tone. Playmates does not really do these vintage skin tones as quite close as I wish they would, you know what I mean? But the blues look pretty good too. It's a little darker on this newer one. But as you can see what I'm talking about, the smooth skin on the vintage turtles were really cool. I'm not sure why they chose to go with this, you know, dotted skin tone all over there. It seems like when they were doing the sculpt, someone just took a toothpick and just decided to create dots over, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what it feels like to me. And I get it, they're trying to make them look like HD, like, you know, high definition remastered. I get it. I think all of us would have just preferred the smoother skin. You can see the sheath on the back like so. All of this looks really good. Now the glaring issue that a lot of us are going to have, and I know it's a big thing for me, they swap the heads on Leonardo and Donatello. Like, I'll bring in my vintage Donnie real quick. As you can see, he has the both side teeth showing on the mouth, where this one has the side teeth showing on the mouth as well. But on the vintage figure, it has more of just a one-sided mouth, which again, I will show shortly when I show off Donatello. But still, to me, that's one of my biggest issues because it's such a blatant swap. I don't know if they just messed it up at the factory and there was no time to change it by the time distribution rolled out. I don't know, but to me, that's a big issue. This still looks cool. You know what I mean? If the vintage figure had this head and you know, this turned out like this, I still think it looks cool. But man, again, it's just a glaring, very blatantly obvious head swap that I think they just messed up on. People say that they did it intentionally. I think it's a mess up. But still, I do think this is still very, very cool. So moving on to the accessories for Leonardo, you can see all the different things that he comes with. I love the fact that each turtle comes with the different like fist spikes and blades and things like that. The ninja stars, which is always super cool. Each figure does come with its own display base. I'll talk about those a little later. And then we get the signature weapons for each turtle. And then each turtle gets their own unique new weapon, which is pretty interesting. So of course for Leo, we do get his signature katana. I love that these are casted in like a silver plastic with the blue handles. You can put those in the back of the sheath like that, or you can put them in a hand and they get a nice firm grip on that. I think that works out super cool. And I don't know about you guys, but like on the vintage toys, it's the same thing. You can just feed these through. Did you guys always put your swords all the way down? Or were you like me and you kind of like put the swords up a little bit so they show from the front a little more? Was that just the me thing? Because I always kind of prefer doing that instead of showing them all the way down like that, because they kind of felt a little hidden. So I don't know, that's just me, but this is still very cool. And then we get this thing. This is gnarly, dude. I don't know if this is a weapon I would have specifically designed for Leonardo. I get it's like a big two-handed bladed weapon. I get it because he carries swords. This just doesn't feel like a Leonardo weapon. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But it's still cool. It has two grips. You can put it, grip it from there, grip it from there. I almost have him wield it like a Tomfa, something like that. And I have him hold it something like that. So I don't know, it's a little different, but I still like it, and I'm never gonna complain about extra accessories. Next up, we have Donatello here, and again, I think he looks great. I love the darker skin tone and the darker purple that they chose. I think he looks awesome. Again, the holster for the bow staff, all that looks great. The big D right there on Homeboy's belt, I think he looks good. Now again, I'm going to make the same complaint that I did with Leo, the head swap, because here's the vintage Leo, again with the side teeth. This is clearly Leonardo's head on Donatello. And if I bring in the vintage Donatello here, he has the double-sided teeth. So again, it's a blatant mistake. I don't care what anybody says. They think, oh, they just did it on purpose. It's not that big a deal. You know, but if you're remaking and remastering the vintage Turtles, why completely give a different brother the different head? It just makes no sense. Again, I think it was a factory error that they didn't have time to fix, and that's what happened. But you can see the differences in skin tones. They're a little bit darker over here. Again, but I still do like the darker purple of the headband and things like that. All of that looks really, really cool. And again, you can see all of his different accessories. Again, the same type of bladed weapons, the ninja stars, the base plates, all that is really cool. We do get his signature bow staff, which I think is great. Again, done in a brown plastic with the painted grips on the center. I wish this purple was a little bit darker to match this, but it still looks cool. I love it. Again, you can store it in the back right there and do that. Now, I don't know, for like a lot of you, these holsters would tear. On my childhood Donatello, that thing did tear, so I can't even holster his staff back there anymore. The material used for these belts and holsters do feel a lot thicker and a lot more sturdier, so I'm not really too worried about them tearing. So that's actually really, really nice. You know, and with the posability, you get really nice two-handed poses, and I'll show little action poses a little later. And then for his new signature weapon, I guess, his new independent weapon is this like bow staff flail thing. And I love this color. This color more matches this darker purple of the bandana, so I wish the wrapping on this was a little more like that. This is gnarly, dude, and in my opinion, this does kind of fit because it is a bow staff just with flails at the end. I think that's pretty awesome, actually, so I love it. I think that's a lot of fun. Next up, let's talk about Michelangelo, because I think this one might be my favorite of this particular bunch. I think it looks so good. They got the M on the buckle. I love the skin tones, that bright, vibrant orange. The shell looks really nice. I just think he looks so good. And again, the lighter the skin tones we get, I think the dots and the holes all over the skin, or whatever you want to call them, definitely do show a little more, especially in the lighting. But again, in person, I don't know, they just do not bother me like I thought they would. So I'll bring in my vintage Mikey, again, my childhood Mikey here. And you can see they look pretty good. The exact same head sculpt. That's how they should be. The skin tones are a little different, but you can see how the shells still have those belts for the holsters for the nunchucks and things like that. Still very, very cool, man. I really do like these a lot. Again, the matching heads really helps with this, man. So I don't know what happened with those other ones. But we can see all his different accessories. Again, base plate, the different types of weapons that we've seen before. You got his signature nunchucks. And then we got that newer weapon here. So the nunchucks are super cool, man. First of all, they're fully painted with the orange grip, and we get a nice sturdy chain on the nunchucks here. I think that's awesome. I am so glad they did that. That makes me very, very happy, because what I've been kind of like doing, I've been doing this and like getting this pose on like this, and so you can like pose them around like that, and you get some good chain action like there. A fellow chucker, huh? I think that is super dope, man. I love that they give us a real chain. Now here's going to be a minor issue. These handles are pretty thick, and it can be a bit of a pain in the butt to get in there. I can only go in about that far. I guess if you heated up the belt to soften up that material, you could probably squeeze them down a little more. That's an option if you want to do that. And did you guys, again, vintage question here, did you guys store your nunchucks like this from the top? Or did you just store them from the bottom at all? Kind of like this, you know? That's another thing. There's different options. I don't know who did what, but I think I always prefer to store him from the bottom. It just made sense for him to grab, you know what I mean? But still, that is super cool. I do love that. And then again, his weapon is almost like a nunchuck with this like dual-handed whip scythe hook weapon. I think this is pretty gnarly for Michelangelo. That is a very deadly weapon for him to wield, and I think it's cool. I think that's a lot of fun as well. I just really love how Michelangelo turned out. And then the last one we're going to talk about is Raphael here. I think he turned out really good as well. You got the R on the belt buckle. I love the front holsters for his sai right there. This all looks really good. I'm going to bring in my vintage Raphael, whose belt will just not stay connected for whatever, no matter how hard I try. Again, this is my childhood Raphael, man. He's seen better days, and he's a little dirty. I really need to give these guys baths. One thing I will say, for some reason, Playmates can just not get that vintage like lime green anymore. Even on their remakes of the vintage Turtles, they're all this more like very pale like green, which is okay. I just really miss this more brighter, vibrant, saturated green that we saw in the vintage toys. Those are really cool. But again, I also do like the fact, if you can see all his different accessories that we get, again, base plate, different bladed weapons, signature sai, and a new weapon. This figure does have a holster for that big fisted blade weapon that he used to carry that you can put on the back, just like the vintage toy. I think that's really, really cool. Again, properly matching heads, which matters to people like me. Maybe not to some, but to people like me, it totally matters. You got his sai that you could either hold or put in the front sheath like this. But what's really cool, these hands are a little bit of a softer, more pliable material. You can actually feed these through the knuckles like sometimes he does use. I think that is super fun if you want to get some poses with him holding his sai like that. That is pretty rad, dude. So very, very cool. And then his new weapon, which is this double hammer pike thing, so he can just bludgeon footbots to death. I don't know. That's pretty gnarly. I like it. I think that fits Raphael's mean streak, man, because that's a mean looking weapon. So again, very cool. I think Raphael totally came out badass. So now let's talk about these base plates here, because each turtle comes with their own base plate. And they are all the exact same base plate. So you got the little pizza here, they got the ooze at the top, a little wire, this little brick wall. All of these are the same, but they also come with like different accessories to like dress up these display bases, which is pretty cool. So you got this like little crappy antenna right there. You got this like, what do you call it? A sunroof kind of thing going on that you can just kind of put anywhere. It just rests wherever you want to put it. You can move that around, which is really cool. So if I bring in things like, here's Donatello's base, his has this little thing, like a little air unit that you can plug on here, like that, and you have like a little air conditioning thing you could, you know, again, put anywhere you want, move it around however you like. And then what you can do, these things are modular again. You can connect them. You see the little slots, the little tabs that kind of connect to each other like that. And those hold pretty good once you line them up. You can connect however you like, and we'll put them this way, you can put them this way. There's all kinds of different options, even from the back. You can put them like that if you want to. It's very, very cool. So if we bring in like, here's Michelangelo's here. He's got this like antenna dish up there. You got, again, a ventilation port you could dress up like that. You have Raphael's here, has a little like ladder that you can connect there, which I think is really cool. So you can do all kinds of different things with these. It's just really fun in my opinion. You even got this like little smokestack. Again, you could put these however you want and connect them all together side by side or however you like. Dress them up with the different accessories. I think that's a lot of fun. I think they did a great job with that, making it modular, adding those different accessories. Makes for a really cool display. So now we're going to get into the articulation. I'm going to use Michelangelo here. And this is what could be hit and miss for people. If you know about modern articulation when it comes to Playmates, it can be pretty hit and miss, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. But the head is on a ball peg. Those are really nice. You can turn left and right, and they're actually easy to pop off. Up and down, pivot side to side, all that kind of good stuff. Arms can go full 360, up and out that far. You can bend at the elbow as well as rotation at the elbow. You only get a wrist swivel. I wish there was a hinge there, so that's a thing I wish they would improve on. Nothing at the torso here, it's just one solid torso. These hips are god-awful. I hate Playmates hips. I don't know why they think this is a good idea where you can kind of kick forward a bit and kick back. And then you can't kick to the side. You have to like completely swerve this whole hip out and then he can kick to the side. I hate that so much. I hate that design. I wish Playmates would stop doing that. I don't know why they think that's a good idea. But at the knees, you can bend at the knee and then rotate at the knee. So like if you want to do a side kick, you have to, again, kick up, move it to the side, swivel the whole knee, and now he looks like he's doing more of a side kick, but then this just does not look right. So I don't get what that articulation is. I hate it so much. And then we only get an ankle cut where you can just do left and right, no pivoting whatsoever, which could make things very difficult to stand sometimes. So in order to get certain poses, you got to really move things around, and it can be very awkward. And because you can't get these guys flat-footed unless they're standing straight up and down, it could be very, very weird. So I don't know, man. If you're okay with modern Playmates articulation, this isn't going to really bother you. If you were hoping for more of that Motu Origins articulation where they really, really amped it up, I think that would have been a lot better. And hopefully, you know, if this line continues, they do up the articulation, because certain things like these hips and that just straight up ankle cut is not going to cut it. But still, I think these are a lot of fun. So for the comparison we all want to see, here is the modern version remastered figure standing with my vintage Michelangelo. You see the modern version with my vintage Donatello. And here's Raphael with the vintage Raphael. And of course we get Leonardo with the vintage Leonardo. So there it is, guys, my look at the remastered TMNT figures from Playmates. Now, I think Raphael is really cool. I love his sai, and that new weapon I think is pretty awesome. I think it suits the character perfectly. I love the colors for the most part. I wish his skin could be more like lime green. Like I said, I don't know, I'm not sure why Playmates can't get that green anymore. But I love the fact that he can hold the sai between the fingers now. I think that's pretty awesome. That's a really well done figure. Now, Leonardo, my personal favorite turtle. I love this guy. I will never hate a Leonardo figure, honestly. I think his katanas came out fantastic. That new weapon of his is kind of ridiculous. I'm not sure if I love it or not. I'm not sure if it really fits the character, but whatever. Again, it's an extra accessory. I'm not going to complain about it. But man, that head sculpt genuinely just... I don't know why Playmates decided to do this, if it was a decision or if it was just a mistake by the factory. Again, I don't know. Either way, I still love this guy, man. It's Leonardo. It's my favorite turtle. Michelangelo is personally my favorite of this particular bunch. I actually really do like the new weapon with those like sickles attached, like nunchuck sickles. I think those are pretty awesome. And I really love the fact that we're getting his nunchuck with actual chain and really good quality chain. That's the best part of this. Again, I don't know if it's just my copy that those nunchuck handles don't fit in the back holsters. Again, a little heat might help with that, so that's a little weird. But still, this is definitely my favorite of these four. And then lastly, we have Donatello. Again, I think this is awesome. I love the deep purple chosen for this figure. The brown skin works out really nice. I just wish the purple on the handle was a little more matchy with the actual bandanas of the figure. And again, that head sculpt, oh my god, it's a good head sculpt. It really, really is. But it belongs on Leonardo, not Donatello. That head swap is genuinely bothering me. But again, Donatello is awesome. I love his new weapon. I think that works out for the character as well. So again, just a really fun piece. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my negatives here. The head swap between Leo and Donnie is probably the thing that bothers me the most personally. You know, Mikey and Raph look so good with their proper heads. What happened with Leo and Donnie? Was it on purpose? Was it just an accident that they couldn't fix in time? I don't know, but still, it really, really irks me. Now that skin texture, what all of us are talking about, it honestly just, it's weird. I don't understand why they went with that route. It just looks odd. It doesn't fit the turtles. I don't know why they decided to stay away from the smooth skin of the vintage toys when that's what's really these are supposed to be paying homage to. But I will say that they do look and feel better in person and in hand than on camera and like photos and things like that. I will say that. So in person, the skin texture doesn't bother me as much as it does in like pictures. Now, all the accessories that we get, I think, are really cool. I love the weapons, even those new bonus weapons that are a little weird, but I do like them for the most part. And those display bases are really rad. I love the modularity of those, that you can mix and match different parts and all that kind of stuff and connect them together in different ways. That's really cool, man. Now, here's the thing. These figures have their problem, but they're only $13. You know, I live in California. It was $12.99 at Walmart per figure. So it's really hard to complain about figures that are that cheap, that come with this much stuff. You know, the articulation could of course be better. Playmates just has their own idea of what articulation should be, especially in the hips and the legs and things like that. I don't get that, and I personally don't like it. But again, $13 for these toys is a very good deal in my opinion. I actually do have a lot of fun playing with them. I think they're awesome for that price. Yes, they have their issues. I can totally see people passing it on them, but honestly, for me, as a Turtle fan, I am very much enjoying these TMNT figures. So don't forget to be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.